don't disagree. Don't disagree.
Karen, we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the regular meeting of Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glassboro for February 8th, 2022 to order. Karen, could you please read the opening statement?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, I hereby announce that adequate notice of this meeting, as required by said act, has been provided by adopting a schedule of regular meetings for the year 2022, which schedule was posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board, as well as the Borough website, and forwarded to both the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel of Gloucester County, and filed with the Borough Clerk on January 7th, 2022.
Thank you. Can we all rise to salute the flag, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, roll call, please.
Mayor Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Costello?
Present.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
Here.
Mr. Fiola?
Here.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Spence?
Here.
Mr. Melandro?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Present.
Mr. Brunemer?
Here.
Thank you, Karen. At this time, I'd like to recognize two gentlemen for service awards. First of all, I'd like to recognize George, known by his friends and colleagues as Chris Tornbloom. He will be retiring, or has retired, I'm sorry, after 29 years of service to the Highway Department and finished his career at the Borough as the lead mechanic. Thank you so much for everything you've done, Chris. And Lieutenant Michael Dowd, who has retired after 27 years of service to the police department and finished his career with the rank of lieutenant. And again, to Lieutenant Michael Dowd, thank you for everything that you've done in your service to the borough. And with that, I will turn the meeting over to our borough solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have a number of ordinances this evening. The first is ordinance number 2201 for a public hearing. That is an ordinance authorizing the transfer of property known as Block 467, Lot 3, in the official tax map of the Borough of Glassboro to Gloucester County Habitat for Humanity, a nonprofit corporation of the state of New Jersey. Transfer of property located on Cleveland Ave. Council moves for the public portion.
Move the public portion be open.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Anyone from the public who wishes to address this proposed ordinance?
Seeing none, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance adopted as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
4.
Mr. Fiola?
4.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
4.
Mrs. Spence?
4.
Motion carries.
Next, Mayor, we have ordinance 2202, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. This is for the 22 calendar year at 2.5%.
Move public portion be open.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The floor is now open for anyone from the public who wishes to address this proposed ordinance.
Seeing none, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance be adopted as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
4.
Mr. Fiola?
4.
Mr. Halter?
4.
Ms. Miller?
4.
Mrs. Spence?
4.
Motion carries.
Next, Mayor, is 22-03, ordinance authorizing a financial agreement pursuant to the 5-year exemption abatement law for the South Delsey Drive apartment complex project. Council moves for public hearing.
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. Floor is now open to anyone from the public who wishes to address this proposed ordinance.
Seeing none, make a motion to close the public portion and adopt the ordinance as written.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr.
Yes.
Costa? Mr. D'Alessandro?
Four.
Mr. Fiola?
Four.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Four.
Mrs. Spence?
Four.
Motion carries.
And Mayor, we have ordinance 2204, amending bond ordinance 20-07 of the Borough of Glassboro for reappropriating of funds for improvements in the water and sewer department, Park Avenue Pump Station Rehabilitation Project. Council moves for public portion.
Move the public portion be open.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Floor is now open to anyone from the public who wishes to address this proposed ordinance.
Seeing none, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance adopted as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
Four.
Mr. Fiola?
Four.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Four.
Mrs. Spence?
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 11th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We have no communications. I'll move to committee reports and begin with Council President Costa.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just for the record, I am in the receipt of the monthly report for January for the police department and the fire department. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilman D'Alessandro.
Mayor, at this time I have nothing.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilman Fiola.
Thank you, Mayor. I am in receipt of various, like 6 budget and revenue financial reports from our CFO, Karen Passione. I would like to thank her for that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilman Halter.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am in receipt of the water and sewer report. All status quo there, a number of sewer emergencies were taken care of, and everything else seems good to go.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Miller.
Yes, Mayor, I just wanna mention that we are currently in the process of, registering people for T-ball, soccer, and track and field, and that registration ends the week of February 18th.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Spence.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to report I am in receipt of the January construction report. Everything seems in order, and thank you to Terry Smith for preparing that and sending it.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Mayor, excuse me, sir. I don't know if I specified the reports I received were for the month of December 2021.
Thank you very much. They're noted for the record. We have no unfinished business. We have no new business. I would ask for the engineer's report, please, Mark.
Just a quick update, construction started over to 94 townhouses at Camelot. They're putting in the water main first. Weather conditions has kind of hammered them a little bit, so that's impeded their improvements the same way with Lincoln Housing Project, Lincoln Boulevard Housing over on Ellis Street, excuse me. We had a meeting last week to kind of clarify some safety issues for the access road. The contractor was supposed to show up last week, and then this week he still hasn't been there, so we'll monitor him to make sure that's in there. They have to put their water main in and get the roads built. So until that point, we're not gonna jeopardize any of our emergency equipment to get in there. So they're proceeding at their own risk. For those High Street townhouses are underway. There's building houses right now. Their goal is to have the first one that's along 322 completed by the early April. So they'll be seeing progress then. For those, they probably have at least 5 or 6 different buildings approved. So they're gonna be putting them up pretty quick. Charles III, we're still going back and forth with DOT. For those items, and the Bonesaw Brewery is nearly complete for TCO on their warehouse in the back. They have some paving to do, but that won't get done until this spring. For those, they have everything striped, so it's safe there, got the lights up on that, and we just have one item left to get that completed, and then they'll be able to start utilizing that rear warehouse. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Mark. Anybody have any questions for Mark?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Mark.
This time I will again turn the meeting over to our borough solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Under our consent agenda this evening, we have the following resolutions. First being number 49, Resolution awarding a contract with Level 1 Construction Inc. for the Park Avenue Pump Station Rehabilitation Project. Resolution 67 of the Borough Council, Borough of Glassboro, authorizing the mayor's execution of a shared services agreement between the Borough of Glassboro, the Township of Mantua, and the Township of Harrison for the implementation of the Regional Redevelopment Plan for the Route 322 Rowan West Campus Regional Redevelopment. Resolution 68, resolution of the Borough Council, the Borough of Glassboro, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with Rowan University, Bioenergy, DevCo, the Township of Mantua, and the Township of Harrison regarding the redevelopment of property located within the Route 322 Rowan West Campus Regional Redevelopment Area pursuant to the adopted redevelopment plan. Resolution 69, resolution of the Borough Council, the Borough of Glassboro, directing Colliers Engineering and Design, Inc. to draft an amendment to the Regional Redevelopment Plan for the Route 322 Rowan West Campus Regional Redevelopment Area. Resolution 70, authorizing shared services agreement between the Gloucester County Improvement Authority and the Borough of Glassboro regarding usage of certain stage units. St. Anthony's Italian Festival. Resolution 71, also authorizing shared services agreement between the Gloucester County Improvement Authority, the Borough of Glassboro, usage of certain stage units for Glassboro Arts Festival. Resolution 72, authorizing the tax collector to participate in an electronic tax sale. Resolution 73, authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for electronic tax sale services through realauction.com LLC. And Resolution 74, resolution establishing grace period for property tax payments in the Borough of Glassboro. They are the resolutions this evening on our consent agenda. For the reasons all is well noted on the agenda, council so moves for approval. Roll call vote.
Motion for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costello.
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro.
4.
Mr. Viola.
4.
Mr. Halter.
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
4.
Mrs. Spence.
I have 2 abstentions on 70 and 71, and yes to everything else.
Thank you very much. Abstention's been noted, motion still carries.
Thank you, Mayor. We have ordinances on first reading by title only. Before we proceed, just so the record is properly noted, Councilman D'Alessandro has actually removed himself from the DS as part of the ordinance addressing number 22-05, which is the ordinance of the Borough of Glassboro establishing a new chapter for the licensing, registration, and regulation of cannabis establishments. Council so moves for the introduction by title only. Roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costello.
Yes.
Mr. Viola.
4.
Mr. Halter.
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
4.
Mrs. Spence.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Before we proceed, I would note for the record that Councilman D'Alessandro will be returning to the DS. At this time, we have on first reading by title only the introduction of ordinance number 22-06, an ordinance amending chapter 422 taxation, article 3, penalties on delinquent taxes and taxable certificates of the code book of the Borough of Glassboro. Again, council moves for introduction this evening by title only. Roll call.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costello.
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro.
4.
Mr. Viola.
4.
Mr. Halter.
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
4.
Mrs. Spence.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Move to, wait, Andrew.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The floor is now open to anyone from the public who wishes to address mayor and council.
Good evening for those in the public. We do have some rules and regulations. Please note the one is there's a 5-minute limitation, and when you do approach a view, please identify yourself and your place of residence for the record, please. Thank you.
Yes, hi, my name is Denise Brush, and I live at 111 Stoneham Drive in Glassboro. And I am the treasurer for a small local nonprofit called Transition Town Glassboro. And we are trying to build awareness of climate change and the things that residents can do about it locally. For example, last year we gave away 30 trees for people to plant in the borough, because trees reduce summertime heat effects and improve air quality. At the last meeting, which was on Zoom, during the public portion, Kelly Tamborello, who's the president of our organization, spoke about the signatures that we collected on our petition, asking for the borough to provide community meeting space for local organizations. And she mailed the petition to you. Did you receive it?
We did.
Good, good. So we understand that there's plans to eventually build a new community center and library. I don't know how firm those plans are or when that's gonna happen, but I'm sure that it's several years down the road at least. So we would like to respectfully ask if someone from the borough could meet with our organization to brainstorm options for providing community meeting space in the borough, perhaps a room in the borough hall or someplace that could be reserved. I'd like you to consider that, and then I also have another issue that I would like to bring up with regard to our organization. Transition Town Glassboro is a registered 501c4 nonprofit in the state of New Jersey. We accept donations, but we rarely get any. We don't do any fundraising, so basically our only source of income is the pockets of our small membership. So for the past several years, the borough has been charging our organization $10 a year for a business license. And recently I got a notice that I would have to pay a $20 late fee. I'm the treasurer for the organization, I guess I mentioned that. So I got a notice that I was required to pay a late fee of $20 for not being up to date with my license. And I'm very upset about this because my organization is being forced to pay for a business license when we're not a business. We don't sell anything, we don't have any income. I know $10 isn't that much, but we don't have much income either. You know, we just have us. So I actually contacted several other small nonprofits in Glassboro and asked them if they were required to have business licenses, and all of them said no. And they expressed surprise that we were being required to do so. So we don't want a business license, we don't need a business license, but there doesn't seem to be a way to just cancel it and stop paying. I tried to discuss it with Tawana Bryant, who sends out the bills, but she doesn't have the authority to do anything. So I'm bringing it up to the Borough Council, and I'd appreciate if the borough could take care of this issue for us. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Brush, could you please repeat the name of your organization?
Okay, it's called Transition Town Glassboro, as in the transition off of fossil fuels, essentially, is the idea, right?
All right, thank you very much. We will most certainly look into it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Seeing no other members of the public, I make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve all duly authorized bills.
Move that all duly authorized bills be paid.
Sec.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Any closing comments by our Borough Administrator?
No, Mayor.
All right, thank you. I would just, again, as always, like to thank everybody for coming up, especially the members of the public, to express your concerns or any issues you may have, and encourage you to continue to do so. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and I will now entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. This meeting is now adjourned. Our next regular meeting will be scheduled for February 22nd, 2022 at 6 p.m. Have a great week, everybody. Stay warm.